Welcome back. What if at your absolute lowest point, when you felt totally alone, you actually had an audience, one you just couldn't see? Today, we're diving into this incredible story about resilience, about how rejection from one world can sometimes open a door to acceptance from a completely different one.
All right, so let's set this scene. Our story begins at a really low point. It's during what's known as the Year of Grief. The prophet had just faced this brutal rejection from the people of At-Taaf. It must have felt like every single human door had just slammed shut in his face. But that's exactly when a new door opened, one from a world completely beyond our own.
But before we get to that moment of, profound solitude, there was this brief but really important human connection, just a small glimmer of hope that was sparked by a simple, public act of faith. So picture this. Exhausted after everything he's just been through, the prophet finds a bit of refuge in a garden. And this young man, a total stranger named Addaas from the ancient city of Nineveh, comes up and offers him a bowl of grapes. Now, as Addaas is watching, he notices something. Something small, but, pretty profound.
See, before taking a grape, the prophet just says the name of God. And this simple act, something Addaas had never ever seen before in Arabia, it gets him thinking. It sparks his curiosity, right? And that little moment starts a conversation that actually ends with Addaas, this stranger, recognizing the truth. It just goes to show you how a sincere act of faith can open hearts, even when you're completely surrounded by disbelief.
But that small moment of comfort, it didn't last long. The journey back was just filled with this overwhelming sense of loss, and it led to a turn inward, a move towards solitude and prayer out in the vast emptiness of the desert.
He was feeling completely dejected after leaving Al-Taaf. So the prophet stopped in this desolate valley called An-Nakhla. It's kind of like a no man's land between two cities. And it's right here, in this place of total solitude, that our story takes its most incredible turn.
So there he was, alone, in the vast silence of the night. He just stood up to pray. After being rejected by the world of men, he turned his heart completely to the divine. He started reciting the Quran, probably thinking that not a single soul was there to listen.
But here's the thing. He wasn't alone. Not at all. In that moment of complete and utter isolation, an audience that he could never, ever have expected was drawn to his voice. And believe me, their reaction, it changed everything.
Turns out, a group of 7 jinn, these are spiritual beings created from smokeless fire, they just happened to be passing by. And they stopped. They were completely mesmerized by the words they heard echoing in the darkness.
And just think about the incredible contrast here for a second. The exact same words that were just met with stones and insults are now being received with total reverence. They're urging one another, listen in silence. They wanted to absorb every single word.
You see, what they heard that night wasn't just, beautiful poetry. It was a universal message. And it resonated so deeply with them that it compelled them to take action, immediately.
They recognized the Quran. Instantly, they got it. They understood that this was a continuation of divine guidance, a book that confirmed the messages brought by prophets before them, like Moses. They saw its purpose so clearly, to guide all of humanity to the truth.
And just like that, they accepted it, no hesitation. The same message that was so violently rejected by humans was now being embraced by beings from a whole other realm. This was the validation. This was the divine support that arrived in the absolute darkest hour.
And here's the part that's so powerful. They didn't just keep this amazing new faith to themselves, no way. They immediately felt this sense of duty. They went straight back to their own communities, not just as new believers, but as messengers themselves.
So this incredible event wasn't just some private moment of comfort for one person. It became a really powerful lesson for the entire early Muslim community. It actually reshaped their whole understanding of what faith and support even mean.
Can you imagine when the prophet's companions learned about this, the effect it must have had on them? It was this profound realization that they were not alone in their struggle. It was a totally new kind of victory, a sign that their message had allies in worlds they couldn't even see.
And the jinn's own account of this, which was later revealed in the Quran, it just perfectly captures their mindset. Their faith was immediate, it was certain, and it was fearless. They heard the guidance, and that was it, they believed.
This whole story really just beautifully illustrates a core principle of faith, doesn't it? It's all about belief in a reality that exists beyond our five senses. It's such a powerful reminder that truth isn't just limited to what we can physically see and touch.
So ultimately, the story of these unseen listeners leaves us with something to think about. Can we find strength in a reality that's beyond our immediate senses? The story suggests that, yeah, maybe we can. That even in our darkest, most isolated moments, when it feels like the entire world has turned its back on us, we might just have more allies and a much bigger audience than we could ever possibly imagine.